welcome on board Himanshu Modi, the CFO at Suzlon Group, to talk to us about the way forward for the company. Himanshu, hi, good to be speaking with you. Well, FY24 was marked by a good amount of order inflow for you. But in FY25, how do the prospects look like? What kind of order inflow and order book are you targeting this year?
So, as we've said, we started the year with the highest ever order book in the history of Suzlon. We started the year with 3.3 gigawatts of order book. There is also quite an active pipeline that we are under negotiation with our customers. So the existing order book needs to be, of course, executed over the next 2 financial years. So whilst I can't give you the exact numbers on what we expect for FY25, but suffice to say that we have a healthy order book currently and also a very good active pipeline.
So the other thing, morning firstly, wanted to talk about is, in your conference call, you did allude to the fact that the India wind capacity addition is likely to increase quite a fair bit. How does it really translate into business for you, and what kind of numbers are we looking at, say, by the FY25 close?
So the India wind capacity addition was about 3.3 gigawatts in FY24 as compared to 2.2 gigawatts in FY23. So that's close to a 43% increase year on year. Our estimates as a company is that the country would add about 5 gigawatts in FY25, therefore another 50% increase from FY24. Now, from a Suzlon perspective, of course, historically or on FY24, we've had a 27% market share, and our endeavor would be to at least meet that market share and if not increase the market share.
Morning, Himanshu, and you had also flagged off in your answer about a strong order book and how that's looking quite healthy in terms of your order inflow, rather. Can you just give us a little bit more perspective in terms of the tender pipeline for wind, hybrid, what that is potentially looking like in terms of numbers?
So it's, most of the tenders are largely hybrid. I mean, there is no solar only bid that is being issued by SECI or other nodal authorities. Also, a lot of the C&I customers who we talk to directly are looking at hybrid between solar and wind. So clearly, both sources of renewable energy are complementary rather than, contradictory to popular perception that it is competitive. So I think, if we were to put numbers close to 15 to 20 gigawatts of wind pipeline annually is being added. I mean, as we know, there's a calendar that is being issued by SECI where 10 gigawatts of pure wind is there, and the balance 40 gigawatts is hybrid. So even if one were to assume minimum 25% in the hybrid of wind capacity, then we're looking at close to 20 gigawatts of wind orders or bids year on year. This all is, of course, towards the trajectory that wind installations in India needs to go to about 100 gigawatts by 2030 from the current 45, 46 gigawatts. So that's addition of about 55 gigawatts over the next 6 years.
Where lie the challenges, Himanshu? Because, while it's a given that, the regulatory policy and the kind of government initiative definitely is auguring well and well intended. They are upping the wind capacity almost on an annual basis. But where lie the challenges for your industry?
I think the challenges clearly are, in one word, project execution. As compared to solar, it's obviously a much more complex execution on the ground. So right from land acquisition, I mean land availability is not a problem. There is plenty of land bank available in the country with good windy speeds. It's the process of acquiring that land and ROW for that land for project execution, which is, I would say, a time-consuming process. And the good part is that, in the entire value chain, with project companies like us, our customers, that realization is set in, which is why we see that a lot of the customers that are placing orders with us is well in advance of the actual project commissioning. So people have started to factor in those potential delays or timeline that will be required for project execution, including land acquisition, or even power evacuation network, the substation readiness from power grid, etc.
Land acquisition issue, Himanshu, is something which will concern the street purely because we've been scarred by the last cycle when there was that humongous amount of delay in delivery. So, is it a repeat of last time, or do you think it's much better versus the last time? And also, the realizations, as you talked about, have been coming off to factor in this delayed delivery, etc. Do you expect the realization to fall off further? I believe it's right now around 5.6 crore per megawatt thereabouts.
So again, I don't think past is a barometer for what the future holds. The country added about 5.5 gigawatts as capacity in 2017, and yes, you may be right that at that time the realization on how much time a land acquisition or project execution will take may not have been there. But today, as I said, in project execution companies like ours, our customers, that realization is there. So when we model the project execution schedule, that timeline is very clearly factored in. And as you can see, as I said, the country is grown 43% in installations already as compared to last year. So far as our selling price per megawatt is concerned, the order book that we have is just short of about 6 crores per megawatt. So of course, it may differ quarter on quarter, but ballpark, it'll just be shy of 6 crore per megawatt in terms of selling price.
Overall, FY25 was expected to be that turnaround year for you. And of course, if you look at the exit rate of Q4, there was that 30% year-on-year growth in terms of revenue. And of course, the profitability was much higher. The net cash situation had improved. EBITDA was up 53%. For FY25, what should be a realistic estimate in terms of, let's say, the top line growth, margins, and the cash position?
So again, difficult for me. I mean, we don't provide any guidance to the street as a matter of policy. As I said earlier, our manufacturing business, we think that the country will add about 5 gigawatts in FY25, and we have close to a 27 to 30% market share historically. Our endeavor as management will be to continue with that market share. And our O&M business, will continue inflationary growth on the top line and deliver healthy margins close to about 40%. So depending on the volumes that we end up at in FY25, I think we should be looking at a much stronger balance sheet at the end of this fiscal.
Okay, and what about the transmission access? Because that is a bit of a challenge. Of course, the government is working a lot in terms of integrating all of that together. But do you foresee that it's going to take a bit longer for all of that to work out?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the policymakers are quite intent, on all of this. So, as I said, the end objective, the goal, the entire stakeholder chain or the value chain is working towards making the 100 gigawatt dream by 2030 a reality.
Taken. And overall, I also wanted a sense from you with respect to the consolidation which is happening in the industry. Siemens is selling its wind energy business in the country. There are a lot more as well which are available on the ground. How do you see the entire industry dynamics shaping up? Are you worried that there could be a much more heated competition because some of these players have been on the back foot of late, but once they get new managements, etc., they might want to be a bit more aggressive?
Look, I mean, competition is always good and healthy. I think, given the market demand that we are seeing over the next few years, I think there is room for everyone to play. So far as Suzlon is concerned, we have our product strategy, our market strategy very clearly laid out. We have a large set of customers who've been, Suzlon loyalists over the years, and we really are grateful to them. And I would also say that Suzlon is the only turbine, in India, which is Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Our technologies are USP, and it is the only turbine that is used for Indian customized conditions, I would say, or tailor-made for Indian customized weather conditions. Whereas most of our competition, whether from the west or the east, really don't have that product advantage.
Himanshu, is it fair to say that Suzlon, at least for now, is not in the market for any inorganic acquisition of sorts?
Again, I mean, difficult to comment yes or no. Like is the case with probably any business. We are always on the lookout opportunistically to see if there is, any organic, inorganic growth opportunities that make sense for the company for growth of shareholders' value. So I would never say that, we are not in the market. We do keep our eyes and ears open, and if anything opportunistic comes by which makes sense, fits in with our strategy, we'll definitely be giving a serious shot to it.
Active discussion at advanced stage?
Sorry, advanced stage with?
I'm saying anything at an active discussion level at a very advanced stage?
No, nothing at this advanced stage right now.
All right, Himanshu, thank you for joining in, boiling all the questions just to get a better perspective as to how business is shaping up. Yes, indeed, sounding pretty optimistic, a healthy order book, order inflow, on the lookout for growth opportunities as of now, and talking about and reiterating rather how the challenges lie in project execution and land acquisition. That's Suzlon Energy for you.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.